Okay, I guess we're going. Thanks, Lily. Just gave me the thumbs up. Hello. Welcome to Cooking with Greg. This is live from the lovely lake house. Thanks again to Kenny and Lynn. This is going to be our last episode from the lake house. We're almost out of our self-imposed quarantine, and we're going to be back in with Joe and Kathy pretty soon. And we're going to do some tutorials from there. I think the next one will actually be Lily on camera doing a delicious fruit galette. So look out for that. That's going to be awesome. And maybe we'll raid their wine cellar and do some wine tutorials also. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. That's for the future. Let's not worry about that right now. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I need a small saucepan. Sorry, lovely. I didn't let you know. So we're making today some cheese and black pepper popovers. I don't know if everybody's familiar with popovers. They're a staple in central Maine where I grew up, and then I moved out of there and I didn't see popovers for a long time. They've made a little entree into the New York restaurant scene. We had some good popovers at Buttermilk Channel where I used to work, and we had some good ones at BLT restaurants, but I always liked my mother's recipe the best, the one that I had when I was a kid. So I did get this recipe from my mother, but full disclosure, this is not the recipe that she used when I was a kid. I'm sorry. Hers were excellent. These are still her recipe, but her new recipe, which I think is actually better. Because cooking techniques and ideas have expanded since what they were in central Maine in the 80s and 90s. Thankfully, there was not a lot of variety back then. But now we have all kinds of things to work with and fancy flavors like Parmesan cheese and black pepper to add to your basic popovers. Now, initially I had said Gruyere cheese as far as the cheese I was going to be using. That is in the recipe, but we're living in a time of difficulties. Leaving the house is an adventure, going out to get something. You never know exactly what you're going to get, and we could not find Gruyere cheese, but we did have some Parmesan cheese, and it's actually not even Parmesan or Reggiano, full disclosure. This is Boar's Head, so it's a little soft. It's softer than your aged Italian Parmesans. So I'm going to be using it in the same way for my application, which is 1 ounce of cubed Parmesan cheese, which is portioned out into 6 little portions, because that is what I'm using to put into my popovers. I'm going to make 6 popovers today. 6 popovers. And you can make, if you're using a popover pan, which I'm going to show you in a second, like I am, then it makes 6 good popovers. If you're using a muffin tin, probably around about 8. You can play with this recipe. It's really easy to double or to cut back. Have fun. Lily is always fielding questions and comments. I feel like we maybe just got one. Is there something to say?
Irene says hi, and Umberto says hello, Greco.
Hey, how's it going? It's nice to thank you both for joining in. I hope that you're going to enjoy these popovers. Popovers, by the way, for people who don't know, it's a savory egg-based pastry that we have as an accompaniment for dinner. I've been told it's very similar to Yorkshire pudding. I haven't had, or at least the casing for Yorkshire pudding. I haven't had a Yorkshire pudding. Any of my friends who are of English extraction can either agree with me and say, yes, that's very much it, or they can set me straight and say, no, Greg, that's not it. Don't ever do that again. But this is a popover, and it is a staple of Maine cuisine, but modified for the modern world. So we have our cubed cheese. It's in equal portions, or around about. I eyeballed it, but 1 ounce of that, and then you have some extra grated cheese that you're going to sprinkle over the top of your delicious hot popovers when they come out of the oven. Excellent. We have the recipe says you can use cooking spray. My mother and I prefer to use butter, so this is just 3 tablespoons of butter. Or actually, those were half tablespoons, weren't they, Lily? Yes. So this is don't pay attention to that label. It's 1.5 tablespoons divided into 6 equal segments, just to grease your pan. You need 2 large eggs. You need a cup of all-purpose flour. You need a cup of whole milk. You need about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and around about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, fresh black pepper. I use maybe closer to a half because I like it nice and peppery. You can do what you want. I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to give you the fundamentals of making popovers. We want to probably try to keep the... Okay. So, now you have your ingredients. You also need whisk. You need a mixing bowl. You need an oven mitt. I like a nice silicone oven mitt because it resists to higher temperatures, which is good because sometimes I'll just grab a pan and I'll start just yakking to people like an idiot, and I'm holding on to it and I'll get burnt with a regular one because I have a short attention span. Also, these have a really good grip on them. Now, the most important thing you're going to need is you need a small saucepan, and you need your popover pan or muffin tin. This is a good old-fashioned Maine popover tin sent to me by my mother in the mail. Now, I have this in the oven already. You should go ahead and heat your oven to 375 degrees. Do it right now. Or, well, first you should make sure that you have a rack on the bottom, in the bottom third of the oven. You want to keep these low where the heat is nice and concentrated. Then you got your popover tin in there, and you want to get it nice and hot while you're mixing your ingredients, because the popovers are an egg-based rising pastry, and they just need that heat to give them the first initial rise. They are sort of like a souffle in that they are completely risen by eggs, and they're going to end up hollow and delicious. And when you're baking them, it's very important to leave them undisturbed. Don't get tempted to open your oven and look in and have a peek, because you're going to mess up the temperature and they're going to deflate on you, and then that's not a popover, that's just a little pile of sadness in the bottom of a tin. Yeah.
Joseph Santiago says, hey, Greg, and Peachy says, late.
Yeah, I'm always late, Peachy. Late is on time for me. You know that. And hi, Joe. How's it going? Thank you for your non-judgmental comments, everybody but Peachy. All right, so the first thing we have to do is, now that we've got our tin nice and heated up, our popover tin, is we've got to warm up this milk. All right, so we're going to take it and we're going to put it in our small saucepan on a low temperature. Now, we don't want to bring this milk to a boil. It's important not to bring it to a boil. You just want to get it nice and warmed up. Just like if we were thinking about you're having bad dreams and you want to soothe yourself, and it's like the 1950s television show, you get that glass of warm milk. This is that sort of temperature, you know. I mean, you don't get it so like as cool as if you're nursing a baby. Like, it's not body temperature. It's a little higher than that. I think the goal is around about 120 degrees. But don't quote me on that. Just make sure it does not come to a boil, or I'll shake my whisk at you. Okay, so that's heating up a little bit. While it is, we are going to keep an eye on it. You always have to keep an eye on it. But you are going to take our mixing bowl. We're going to take our two large eggs, please. And we're going to crack them in. I'm not a one-handed egg cracker. I've been trying to do it. I think it looks really cool. But again, I am not a chef. I'm not a baker.
Kat says a sad puddle in the bottom of the tin is an accurate description of life during the time of shelter in place.
Oh my goodness. Well, I hope that this is going to raise your spirits a little bit, like the proverbial souffle or popover, because these are delicious. I really hope I hope you're going to enjoy these. And if you need to talk later, then I'm free. I'm open for you. Let's see. So you put your salt and pepper in there. All right. You get them nice. That's it. Just salt and pepper and egg. And you're whisking them together. You're keeping an eye on your milk. You say, okay. When just a little bit of steam starts to come off of it, then it's going to be at a good temperature for you. So whisk, 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 whisk. Now you don't want to overwork anything in this, because if you overwork the eggs, then it messes up the proteins. If you overwork your flour, then it messes up the gluten, also a protein. You got to be careful with your proteins for this, because the proteins interlocking and expanding is what is going to cause the reactions that you need. So that's.
Show us the level of whisk.
Yeah, so get it so it's nicely mixed, but not anything too crazy. And then you're gonna want your warm milk, which is still warming. Yeah, that might take a second. Let's see. In the meantime, I'm gonna just sneak over here. And like I said, this is my mother's recipe, and full disclosure, I've made it 3 times. So I want to make sure that I'm getting the steps 100% correct. Because why would I lead you down to the primrose path just to disappoint you? I want to make something really nice for you. Yeah. Back up. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
There.
Well, I'm just looking at my phone. This is very unprofessional. But like I said, not a chef, not a baker, unemployed sommelier. So this is starting to come up to temperature, which is nice. My eggs are all whisked together. There's really not a lot you can do sometimes in the kitchen besides wait. This still isn't going to take long. This isn't going to be your hour-long pancake tutorial or your hour and 8-minute baguette tutorial. Unless you count the break in the middle, in which case, yeah, I'm always going to take up about an hour of your day. But what have you got to do? Maybe a lot. I don't know. You can tell me in the comments. Also, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, speaking of comments, we'd love to see your popover attempts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I understand you're supposed to say that. I think you should. I've got like 11 subscribers now, so I'm only 989 away from the 1,000 I need to stream live. So tell your friends if you have friends who would enjoy this kind of thing. Okay.
Mark says Greg the Great.
Which Mark?
Wigginton.
Oh, hey Mark, how's it going? You're not so bad yourself there, buddy. Yeah, it's been a long time. I wasn't sure because I think I have some relatives watching too, which reminds me, I did say I was going to give a shout out to my Grampy Piper who passed away not too long ago, just earlier this year. And he was a big papa. Well, he liked to eat in general and always maintained a fine figure, but he did love popovers. That was one of his favorite things. So, and then, you know, my mother learned to make them at a young age, and I've been enjoying them my whole life. So I hope that this might be something that you can share with generations of your family, or if you're not family oriented, you can just share them with strangers, or you can take pictures of them and put them on the internet because they look pretty impressive when they're done. My milk is starting to come up. You know what they say about the watched pot. I'm just going to turn up the temperature a little bit, which is playing with fire, or in this case, heated ceramics. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Does anybody have any questions, any comments? Anybody want to talk about what they're doing to pass their time in the quarantine during the great pandemic of?
Mark loves our cabinets.
Oh, good. These are not our cabinets, though. We are living by the charity of Lily's parents' friends in a beautiful house on Cayuga Lake right now, because we thought it was prudent to remove ourselves from Queens, because things are a little bit overburdened over there. But I hope everybody who is back in Queens and in New York in general is doing very well, as well as the people in Maine and all over who are watching, or who may be watching later on. You probably can't see it, but a nice steam is starting to come off of this milk. There's a nice little cauldron effect. You can see it. It's just definitely not at a boil yet, but that steam indicates that it's probably going to be around about the temperature we want. You put your hand over it, you feel some warmth rising up. I'm gonna, because this is getting cooked and my hands are very clean. Just touch it. Okay, yeah, that's probably just a hair under what I want still, What can you do? This is all happening live, except on YouTube, in which case maybe I'll edit some of this out. Probably not. I'm not a very good editor. But the milk is almost ready, and then once the milk is ready, boy, you're not going to believe it. Things are going to go like gangbusters. It's going to be, action. Nothing but action. Yeah, okay, that's boiling a little bit more. So what you're going to want to do, you take it off the heat, or it's not boiling, geez, steaming a little bit more. Don't let it boil. Take it off the heat, and you're going to want to slowly mix this in to your little egg and salt and pepper mixture. I'm not going to be able to hold this up while I'm doing it because you got to give it a slow drip. But just slow and steady. Get it mixed in. It's very relaxing to do this sort of thing, Very soothing. It's a little kind of like Zen, just the process of doing these kind of things. It gives you a little time outside of yourself, outside of your worries, I don't know if anybody else has been meditating. If you haven't and you want to, then we can talk about that later, because I have been, and God knows if it's doing anything, but I'm pretty relaxed.
Kat says she should note that saying popover in a Maine accent makes me think of Dad.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, my father's a big Popover fan, for sure. My parents are... We're Popover people, I guess you would say. And that's Kat, that's my sister. She's in the original lockdown in San Francisco. Big shout out to San Francisco for being the trendsetters that they were, even in these sad times. Love you, Kat. Let's see. This is... Yeah, I'm just slowly mixing it in. Hopefully I got it to about the right temperature. Like I said, this is the third time I've done this. But they've come out really well the other 2 times. So hopefully they will this time. We'll find out.
Renita says, long-time eavesdrops are first-time caller. What are we making again today?
Oh, hey, what's up, Renita, a.k.a. Matt? It is nice to see you. Oh, my goodness. We are making popovers. I don't know if you had them as a kid, because, we were friends growing up back there in Maine, but it was a staple in my house. And, you see popover pans and popover... Oh, once that's all mixed in, just once you're done with your milk, you can start mixing in your flour slowly. Now, you don't want to dump it all in. You want to give it a little bit, give it a little mix, give it a little bit, mix it in. And you don't want to get it too smooth. If it's too smooth, it's overworked, and you've messed up all your proteins.
He said we had them all the time.
Yeah, exactly. See, this isn't a hoax. Mainers are popover folks. Oh, look, that was a good rhyme.
His mom still makes them on occasion.
Oh, good. Well, I've dedicated this whole thing to my mother, sort of, and my grandfather, because my mother actually sent me this particular recipe, which I like quite a bit. I'm gonna show you. It's it's starting to look like a nice gloopy slurry here. It's not going to be beautiful as a batter, but boy, I'll tell you, the results are probably all closed. I'm not sure, but the results of this recipe are very nice. So yeah, black pepper and in this case Parmesan cheese popovers, but you can also use Gruyere cheese if you can find it, which I could not do at the Surefine in what's it called?
Union Springs.
Union Springs. No offense to the fine folks over there. They just didn't have any Gruyere cheese. They weren't used to bougie, citified folks such as myself coming up with our insane popover needs. So, the rest of this we're going to switch over to our stovetop so you just leave it a nice loose batter. You leave your lumps in there. Everything's all mixed together. And I think, for portioning purposes, let's see, will that fit? No, that won't quite fit in. But you know what? I'll do it in stages because I want to get a nice even pour of my popovers. Oh, it will fit. Look at that. I don't know. Oh yeah, because one is a solid cup and one is a liquid cup. Obviously, not the same dimensions. So you just want to get your popovers. Just put them right there in your 2-cup measure. So that you can distribute them evenly. We don't need this anymore. We don't need that anymore. This is ready to go. You need your butter. You need your popover batter, and you need your cheese. If we want to come around over here, we can show people what we're doing. Is anybody making these along? Is everybody waiting till later? Does everybody want to see how these come out first? I don't blame you for being skeptical, but I do think that they're going to come out quite well. All right, so our popover pan is hot, nice and hot there. Always use your oven mitt. And what we're going to do is we're going to take one little portion of butter and drop one into each tin. Now I don't know if you can hear it, but this should be hot enough so your butter starts sizzling right away.
It is sizzling away.
Yeah, you need it sizzling away like sausages on the griddle, or whatever you put on your griddle that sizzles. So the butter gets nice and melted. You just give it a second so that it melts down before you put your cold batter in there.
Peachy wants to know if you can use a cupcake tin pan.
Yeah, cupcake tin pan, anything is fine. I'm sorry, I'm rushing the camera. If any kind of pan is fine, as long as it has nice deep depressions. This butter is taking a little longer to melt than usual, so hopefully I got this hot enough. Usually if you have it in while your oven's coming up to temperature, and then you do all your things and make sure to talk to the people you're coaching through it, then it will be enough time. Okay, so I got nice melted butter. I'm gonna pour this, so don't worry about getting some drips in there. Nobody's perfect. This isn't the time to worry about things like that. You can't be harsh on yourself right now. We're all possibly learning new skills, possibly not. Oh, and it looks like I'm a little short there. No, that's actually good. One of them might be a little bit taller than the other ones. We'll find out. But Lily, I don't know if you can get this because it's about halfway in each tin. Although more of that should have been in that one. But what can you do? Now you just take your chunks of cheese and you throw them in. All right, so again, that was 1 ounce of cheese that was cut into little cubes. You can do just 1 cube per tin if you're using the Gruyere, but because Parmesan's a little denser, I like to cut it up into other tins. Now this is into other little cubes. Now this is the important part. You just take it and you throw it in the oven, and then you leave it the hell alone for 40 minutes. I am going to go ahead and set my timer now for 40 minutes. And that's it. That's everything. Your popovers are ready to go. They're in there cooking away. We'll see how they came out because I didn't portion them perfectly, and usually I'm a little better with that, but I'm not going to hold it against myself. I'm going to let it go because I've been meditating. And we'll see you. Go do what you're doing. In YouTube, we're going to see you right now. But on Facebook Live, I'll be back with you in 40 minutes for the reveal. And we're going to have either the agony or the ecstasy together. Hopefully ecstasy, because these should be beautiful.
Remind the temperature, please.
Oh, 375 degrees for 40 minutes. Don't touch your oven. Once the popovers are in there, don't touch it. All right? I'll see you soon. Welcome back. This is going to be really brief. I hope that some of you baked along with me. And we had some beautiful popovers. Oh, let's see how mine came out. Well, yeah, like I thought, a little bit uneven. 4 of them are gorgeous. 2 of them are a little small, but that's okay. They still popped up. They're all nice and inflated. These 4 are going to be really nice. 2 of them are going to go to Joe and Kathy. We're going to exchange that for some twine for the pork loin that I'm baking tonight. And 2 of them are going to be with me and Lily for dinner. And the 2 little ones we're probably going to eat right now because it's the prerogative of the chef. You're just going to take and you sprinkle your grated cheese on top. You've got nice cheesy pockets inside your popovers already. Some of these kind of opened up on the top, but they had plenty of time in the oven so that they did not deflate. And that's nice that it opened up. Then you can just drop a little cheese down the hole, which is a nice thing to have.
Cheese in the hole.
Yeah, exactly. It's very
vulgar,
militaristic, and vulgar. I guess depending on where your mind goes. Now, you're going to take these out of your tin. I honestly, well, you know, what am I doing? I should probably use tongs, I guess. Normally, I think I just grab them out with my hand, but I don't want to encourage that sort of irresponsible behavior in our younger viewers at home because these are hot. They're 375 degrees. Look at that. Came out beautiful, nice and puffed up. This is probably not the best batch of them I've ever made, but hey, see, even the little ones are pretty nicely shaped, and they are going to be very tasty. Now, generally, you know, like all recipes for this kind of thing, it says to eat these immediately, eat them now. But you don't have to eat them immediately. They actually store pretty well. I've kept them in a Ziploc bag for a couple days, and then you can just give them a quick pop into a warm oven, and they'll warm up for you. But, you know, they're nice and, they're irregularly shaped. Don't give yourself a hard time if things don't go perfectly. Again, this is not the time for that. But, man, I will tell you, these may not be perfect, but they're pretty delicious looking. I hope yours came out. See, this is a nice, when you're cooking them, you might think, oh, and I'm just going to throw a little more cheese on these because why not? Cheese everywhere, wherever it'll go, wherever it doesn't go. If it falls off, then, you know, you clean it up. But you might end up with some extra cheese stuck on there, and that's a nice thing. Yeah, so the 40 minutes may seem long, but that gives you the nice golden color, nice firm crust, and they're nice and crunchy, and they're delicious. And I'm just going to take, this is the run to the litter. Still a nice enough popover, but we're going to split this open to show you. The inside is nice and eggy and doughy, and the cheese is all mixed in, and it's delicious. And hold on, I'm going to just take a little bite and see about this. Oh, that's good. Oh my God, it's just like Mom used to make, except now it's actually just like what Mom makes now. Well, I'd say that, you know, these ones, the nice big ones, are what she makes. This was a little bit of a little guy, but still delicious. I hope yours came out well as well. And yeah, keep baking, have fun. We're gonna have a new tutorial for you soon from Lily to do a fruit galette. Let me know what you'd like to see me cook. And thank you for joining us, Cooking with Greg. Oh, again, this is a free service, obviously. But if you have the Venmo and you want to send us a little money, you're one of those folks that's flush with cash right now. I know there aren't a lot of us. I was just signing up for my unemployment benefits while we were on our break. Lily Rose D, that's Lilly Lily. Lily Rose D is our Venmo address. You can send us a little something. You don't even have to, but do make sure that you like and subscribe. Thank you again for joining Cooking with Greg. Enjoy your cheese and black pepper popovers. A little taste of Maine for you anywhere you like. Oh, I think I have a comment. Is there a comment?
Yes.
What's up?
Eric says just leave one outside the footlight for him.
Well,
and
sounds
Mom
good.
said it looks delicious.
They are delicious. And Eric, I will make you a batch when I get back in the city. Everybody take care of yourselves, and thank you for spending this time with us. I'll see you soon. That's good. Oh, hello again. I was just, I figured I'd do another one of these epilogues to show you the food I made earlier in the context in which we're going to be enjoying it. Again, I have my popover with the Parmesan cheese and black pepper. I'm having that with a little roasted stuffed pork tenderloin stuffed with some spinach and feta cheese and some roasted root vegetables. Lots of roasty, toasty kind of flavors because it's a little cold up here at the lake house. And I went crazy with a bunch of Indian spices, some garam masala and some tandoori spice. So I thought out of all the options that I had for wine, my best option today would be to drink some beer. And I'm drinking something nice local by the Ithaca Brewing Company, the Spirit of the Finger Lakes. This is their Flower Power IPA, which is probably their top seller. I like the Cascazilla, the hopped red ale, the best, but it's harder to find. And this is pretty easy to find, the Ithaca Flower Power. It's good stuff. And it should go well with my my popover and my pork and my nice spiced food here. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy this. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. And Lily and I will see you soon. Take care. Thank you. Well, this is the epilogue to the epilogue. I realized we didn't show Lola today, but she's here. She's fine. She's just been moping on the couch because she got muddy at the park today and she had to have a bath. But she may be a little dispirited, but she's doing just fine. All right. Have a good one.